Welcome to this week's edition of Inside SAU Athletics. I'm Reid.
And I'm Negan. On today's episode, we're featuring the men's basketball team.
Although the season may not have gone how they wanted, the Fighting Bees had a chance to end the season on a high note against South Bend on Senior Day. The Titans entered the game as one of the top teams in the CCAC. The Bees hitting all the right notes in the first half. Guard Will Spriggs passes the ball to Jake Friel, who drains the three to grab the 40-28 lead. Later, it's Will Spriggs with the athletic layup to beat the buzzer. Into the second half, it's Spriggs to senior Andrew Morrissey for two in his game high of 25. More from the Bees, Nathan Muller to Ignacio DeCunda to make his three, to make it 67-55. To add the exclamation point from senior Bryce Boyle, who comes off the bench to bury the three. And the Bees end on a season high note, beating South Bend 90-75.
The Fighting Bees have several positives to point out heading into next season. They returned 4 of 5 starters and 9 underclassmen who played in double-digit games this season. St. Ambrose looks to turn that experience into victories moving forward.
Joining us now is head coach of the men's basketball team, Ray Shovlain. Thanks for being with us today, Coach.
I really appreciate it, Lily.
So it's been a difficult season, but what did the big win over South Bend on Senior Day mean?
Well, I really think, as you well know, with Patrick Torrey's passing and going to heaven, it was just a tragedy, from that standpoint. So it's been a really real challenge. It's been the most challenging season we've ever been involved in. I said a prayer for him today and his family at Mass, as I will every day since he left us and every day moving forward. I know the players think about him every day as well, and we really appreciate that. Even before he mentioned, as far as, I'd really like to commend and really thank all our players this year and anybody that was associated with the program, because it was a very difficult year, but everybody really rallied, continued to work hard, was positive as well as you could be positive in a situation like that. But I really do have to commend our whole entire program, especially the young men that have played for us, come to practice, and really had to deal with that, as well as a number of them had injuries throughout the season as well. So I really do commend our players and anybody associated with the coaching, with our program. We just thank you, job well done from that standpoint.
So you have a lot of returning talent. What will the group be focused on during the off-season in order to improve for next season?
Well, I really think, with IU South Bend, you kind of referenced your first question, is an outstanding win. They have one of the best teams in the conference. The guys played very, very well. And I think it reflected and showed our progress throughout the season. We do return a number of players that have major game experience. So we really want to kind of build on that. We're really going to challenge the young men in the program to go ahead and make sure they continue to get better every day, whether that be physically or mentally, from that standpoint. But we'll really work to, again, just make sure that everybody's improving their skills in order to contribute to a team success. When it gets down to the end of the season, they're looking at the win-loss record, and they're not looking at exactly how many points or rebounds you have. They're looking at what collectively the team did together. So, a lot of the guys will challenge guys to get better on an individual basis, and that'll help the team get better.
So, as you mentioned, you've had a lot of returning experience. How valuable will this returning experience be for next season?
Well, I think it'd be really, really critical. In game situations, we have a host of players that have played with major minutes and in major critical situations. We lost a ton of close games this year. The ball could have bounced either way, and it didn't really go quite in our favor. But again, our players didn't get discouraged. They came back to practice and went hard the next day and went hard the next game out. And I think it really was reflected with the IU South Bend game at the end of the season. We're capable of play at that level, and that's kind of what our expectations for next year.
Well, thanks again, Coach, and good luck with the next season. We appreciate you being here.
Really appreciate the time, Lily.
So coming up next in Inside SAU Athletics, we'll be joined in studio by junior guard Will Spriggs. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leo Kilfoy Court at Lee Lohman Arena. It's Ryan Schistel with David Meyer here on KALA HD2 106.1. Walter drives, gives it out to Olivia Harder, deep two. She hits it. A beautiful shot there by Olivia Harder, her first of the game. Plummer on the far sided wing. Three coming from Brunson. Yes, nothing but net. And now the starting lineup for your St. Ambrose Fighting Bees.
Spriggs in the near side corner to Steiner for three straight away. Bang, hits that one. All tied up. Zelenovic in the corner for three.
Welcome back to Inside SAU Athletics. We're now joined by junior guard Will Spriggs. Will, thank you for being here.
No problem, man.
So first question, senior night, it was an emotional scene against South Bend, honoring the late Patrick Torrey. How did that motivate the team going up against one of the best teams in the conference?
Patrick Torrey's passing motivated us throughout the entire season, you know. I feel as though that night was just for Pat, so us rallying together and just like deciding that we're gonna get this win for Pat was a big part of us getting that win. So
you'll be returning as the team's top scorer. How does that affect your mentality going into next year? Do you try to be that guy who's the go-to scorer, or are you maybe focused more on being an all-around player?
I'm more focused on being an all-around player. My teammates allow me to, like they put me in the certain positions where I'm able to score, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I am able to do on the court. As well as the coaching staff, like they believe in me to make those shots and make the correct plays when it comes time. So their confidence in me allows me to perform at the highest level.
And last question, who is somebody this year that really stepped to you and stood out to you on the team?
Patrick Torrey. When I was at the beginning of the season, I wasn't really playing as well, and I would always complain about my performance, and Pat would always just tell me that I'm all right and that I need to stay consistent. So Patrick was definitely a big motivator for me this season.
Well, thanks again for joining us, Will. Have a good off season. Coming up next on Inside SAU Athletics, we'll be joined in studio by junior guard Jake Friel. We'll be right back.
From the campus of St. Ambrose University,
this is ATC5 Dateline.
Welcome to tonight's edition of TV 11's Dateline.
Welcome to this week's edition of Dateline SAU.
With the snow beginning to fall, we thought we'd ask St. Ambrose students who they would like to hurl a snowball at. Chad Denning and Jason Marchek get the scoop. Have a nice evening.
If I was going to throw a snowball at somebody, I'd have to say I'd throw it at my roommate because I get sick of them all the time.
Actually, I would not throw a snowball at anyone because I wouldn't want nobody to throw a snowball at me.
Tony Schuster, because he needs it to be thrown at him.
Yeah, I'd throw it at Tony too. If I had a snowball, I'd throw it at Tony Schuster because he's always antagonizing me.
Well, I'd throw a snowball at pretty much anybody that said me, so.
I guess I'd have to throw a snowball at Bomber because every time I ask him to go out with me, he continues to just diss and diss and diss.
Well, Chad, that's a very enlightening question. If I could throw a snowball at anyone, I'd throw it at Ben Zorn because he's a dork. So I think we're going to have to get Benny.
I think to find it offensive that people throw snow at people.
Welcome back to Inside SAU Athletics. We're now joined by junior guard Jake Friel. Jake, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll start by talking about the win Saturday against South Bend on senior night. Describe what the locker room was like after that big win.
Yeah, the locker room was very joyful. That was a very big game for us to win there. It honestly felt like a championship game out there that we were competing for. Just to do that on senior night for Pat and the other seniors, Andrew and Bryce, it meant a lot to us. So it was a very fun locker room after that game.
Yeah. Looking ahead to next season, you return 4 of 5 starters. How much do you think that experience will help going into next year?
Yeah, that experience is going to help us a lot. Our expectations are going to be at the ceiling. We really want to set a goal to make that national tournament. hopefully win a conference tournament, cut down those nets. So yeah, expectations are high, and I think returning 4 out of 5 starters is going to be very crucial for us, and I think we can get it done.
Alrighty, and last question, what's the key to improvement this off-season for the group?
Yeah, so just starting off individually, getting in that weight room as a team or just alone, just getting stronger physically, mentally, and also building like that bond as a teammate, just getting together outside of basketball and just forming a brotherhood. And I think a brotherhood's a big aspect of basketball, and just coming together, and yeah, I think we'll get it done.
Thank you again for being here, Jake. We look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you on this edition of Inside SAU Athletics. Join us next week when we're talking to members of the men's volleyball team. Remember to check us out at SAUtv, Facebook, Instagram pages for our latest episodes, game highlights, interviews, and more. You can also find them on the Hive at the SAUthebuzz.com. Thanks for watching.